Hi, I'm Lynn Mayers. Welcome to our official assembly video for the Kiwi storage cabinet by KANGAROO Sewing Furniture. I can't wait to walk you through your assembly today and get you up and running with your brand new Kiwi. Before we get started, you're going to need a Phillips No. 2 screwdriver and a power screwdriver and a rubber mallet to help tap in those dowels. I have a few tips for an easier assembly process. First, make sure you put on some comfy clothes. We'll be squatting, lifting, and moving some panels around. Next, grab some small bowls or plates to help you organize those small parts that come with the Kiwi. It'll keep everything organized and easy to find as we start the building process. Last, I like to grab some Post-it notes and a marker. Once those panels are completely removed from their packaging, we will use those Post-it notes to identify each panel by their letter. This way it will be easy to see each panel needed in our assembly process. It's also helpful to clear away all those debris and packing materials before you get started to keep your assembly area clean, tidy, and organized for a smooth build. So grab your instruction manual, a cup of coffee, and you'll be enjoying your finished Kiwi in no time. You will know the assembly for the Kiwi has 3 processes. In phase 1, we're going to be prepping our panels. Phase 2, we'll assemble the frame. And phase 3, we'll be finishing up your Kiwi. And remember, you got this. All right, we are unboxed. I have my panels labeled. We're ready to begin phase 1, the preparation phase. So grab panel G. We're going to start with that one. That is the base of your cabinet. I'll begin with the casters. If you note, I already have 3 of them pre-installed. The holes are already pre-drilled for you, so align the holes of the caster base with those. I have all 4 casters installed now. I'm going to flip it over and we're going to be installing those cam bolts. And a little tip, I like to put a little WD-40 in a cup. Just dip the ends of those cam bolts in there. It makes the installation a little easier. Not necessary, but it's just a little tip. Now the trick with this is you want to get the base of the cam bolt flush with the surface. So you don't want any space, and you also don't want to over drill it and push it down in and damage it. Okay, so I have grabbed panels X, Z, and the 201 panels. We're going to be installing more cam bolts and some dowels. My dowel pins need to be installed in X. Here's your cam lock. You're going to go to the hole right next to it. So you're just going to insert those dowels into that hole. So not over this cam lock, it's right to the side of it. So there's going to be some on the top and some on the bottom. So I have the 4 dowels in my panel X. I'll be doing the same on panel Z. I'm also going to be installing cam bolts into those cam anchors. There's 4 on the side of X and 4 on the side of Z. With your 01 panels, those simply require the dowels. All right, we have prepped our panels X, Z, and the 201 panels. Now, frame assembly. I am going to be assembling the frame by attaching X to Z using those 01 panels. The 01 panels will be installed with your cam locks facing the inside of the cabinet, and these dowels will be facing the outer edge. Putting it in, we're going to lock these locks down, righty-tighty. Cam locks facing in, dowels going to the outside edge. We'll be lining up the bolts with the cam lock holes. Might take a little bit of jockeying to get that in. There we go. So with our bottom up, what I'm going to be doing now is taking panel G. And you'll note that there is a groove right here that is going to be to the back of your cabinet. Line up those bolts and the dowels. I'm going to crawl inside and I'm going to lock those down. What we're going to do is we're going to lock all of our casters down, and very gently we're going to turn this onto its base. Okay, grab panel D. That's the back. The wood grain is going to be facing the outside of the cabinet. With panel A, you're going to need to do a little bit more prep, and that is to place 6 cam bolts into place. So once you have that done, you're going to take the top panel with this groove. You'll notice there is a groove here too, toward the back of the cabinet. Align those cam bolts and gently guide that into place. I then am going to, again, crawl inside that cabinet. I'm going to lock those cam locks down, righty-tighty. Okay, I took some time, I put the cam covers on over those cam locks. One other optional piece, if you like, there are some P brackets. These P brackets and your S1 screws, what you're going to do is you're going to measure 8 inches down from the top of the cabinet and also from the bottom. Then you'll take your S1 screws and you'll anchor those into place. There's 4 total. So again, totally optional for you, but if you want to finish that off, give it a little bit more stability, there you go. All right, final phase, phase 3. We're almost there. You're going to grab panel O, which is your support panel for this top leaf. We're also going to be doing drawer assembly. With O, your prep work is we're going to be attaching the caster on the bottom. You'll notice there is already a pre-drilled hole there. So you'll take your caster, align it with the holes. B, your bolt. Your nut goes on the other side. I'm just going to finger tighten that into place. A little tip for you is to grab a hex wrench and then just take that nut and finish tightening it down. You'll notice 2 pre-drilled holes in there. There are 2 hinges. You're going to need your S2 screws. Okay, with your caster attached and the hinges attached, it's time to attach this now to your assembled base, your Kiwi. Note when you put the caster on, make sure that the bolt is on the outside of your support leg. All right, with our O support panel attached to our Kiwi cabinet, we're moving on to drawer assembly. There are 3 drawers that we'll be assembling that are identical. There's the top, the middle, and then that 3rd drawer down. So we'll do those first, and then we'll save that bigger bottom drawer for last. First thing we're going to be doing is you need to do a little prep work. You want to attach the 4 cam bolts to the front panel, which is your K3. They're the cam anchors that are in place. Same thing that we did on the other panels, you'll be attaching these cam bolts to that. Next, you're going to grab your side panels. And again, the 2 cam locks will be fitting over your cam bolts. Give that a turn to the right to tighten that cam lock down. Wood grain facing the inside of your drawer. Slide that panel into place. Now we're going to be attaching the back panel. Again, there's that channel that this bottom is going to fit into. And then you're going to be using your S3 screws to attach the back to the sides. But in order to access those screw holes, we need to take out the screw in the front and on the back, leaving this center screw in place, because that's going to allow you to pivot this rail. Center screw is in place. I'm just going to pivot that out of the way. We now have access to those 2 screw holes, and very carefully you're going to make sure that's aligned. Take your S3 screw and you're going to be attaching your back. All right, I'm going to pivot my drawer rail back into place. Take those screws that we removed and I'm going to put those right back into place and secure that rail to the side of the drawer. All right, we need to do that on both sides. All right, we have our first 3 drawers built, and I've set those aside for assembly into or insertion into our Kiwi later. We're on to our last and final drawer, which is a larger drawer on the bottom. You're going to grab panels K7 through K11. K7 is going to need a little bit of prep work. You'll need to install 4 of those cam bolts into the cam anchors. Once that is done, we're going to move to those side panels, K10 and K9. Again, guide rail is going to go to the outside of that drawer. Give it a little turn to the right to tighten that down. All right, my 2 side panels are attached to my front panel. I am going to grab K11, which is my bottom, and with the wood grain facing up, I'm going to insert that. Last step is to be attaching your back panel, which is K8. All right, for final drawer insertion, just a couple of quick things for you. In the back, there is a soft close mechanism. You want to make sure that those 2 are separated and they're not together. And after that, you make sure that these bearings, that there's all these bearings in these rails right here, and you are good to go. With that, you're going to take your drawer and you're going to align these rails with the guides right here. There's this green horseshoe shaped piece. They're going to go right over that. All right, you'll hear a double click. Once you hear that, perfect. Hear that double click? And the absolute last step before you can enjoy your Kiwi is you need to assemble your thread storage. These pegboards, they're K1s. You're going to take your D2 dowels, place them in all of these holes. Congratulations, you did it. Here it is, your brand new Kiwi. It's now ready for years and years of sewing and crafting adventures. It's a welcome addition to your growing sewing studio. But if for any reason you still have questions, please give us a call. Our customer service team would be happy to assist you. And for more information or design inspiration for your growing sewing studio, make sure you head over to arrowsewing.com to check out our full line of sewing furniture, including our #1 rated height adjustable sewing chairs. Sewing bliss. I'm Lynn Mayers. Thanks for watching and happy sewing!